can we make a mead better than Arbor Mist wine?
Gods, I hope so. We were treating ourselves one fine afternoon and went to a local bar / tavern.
Yeah.
And they have a lovely selection of wines, ciders, and beers. And I chose a mango moscato because I was feeling fancy.
It was actually
It was mighty tasty.
really good.
It was mighty tasty.
I had a Guinness that day.
Very sweet, very fruity, beautiful. And then we were at Walmart.
We were looking at wines, and she scoffed at a $12 bottle of wine. I forget which one it was. She's like, I'm not paying $12 for wine. I was like, okay. And then right next to it was all the Arbor Mist. And I noticed they changed their look. Like, it used to be different. I don't remember what it was. Arbor Mist is not known as like the highest quality wine out there, okay? But we saw this one. And it was Moscato, Mango, Strawberry, grape wine with natural flavors, lightly fizzy and refreshingly sweet.
And I thought, I wonder if that is going to taste even remotely like my delightful glass that I had at the tavern.
This was like $6 for the bottle.
Yeah.
And as you can see, it's now empty. It was actually surprisingly nice. I would not call it a fine wine. I would not call it high end or complex. But it had a few good notes, and they were nice notes. It was a very pleasant experience.
It was fun, it was fruity, and it was sweet.
It's also only 6% ABV.
Yeah.
I'm like, this is mango strawberry cider, really, whatever. So Derica started saying, well, could we make this? And at first I was like, we can. However, I'm afraid of trying to do that at such a low ABV.
And so we were talking about, all right, what would be our procedure? Would we start with like a sugar wash or a kill you type scenario? And
I didn't really want to do that.
And he didn't really want to do that. He wanted to do a mead. And because the sweet notes in this were reflective of honey sweetness, we thought that would be perfectly appropriate. Obviously, it's going to be a mead and not a wine.
Yep.
But if the flavor profile was our objective, then there's no reason why we shouldn't start with a mead.
So this is our Arbor Mist inspired mead.
All right, so now that you know what our mindset is, let's build a recipe, shall we?
Do they really know what our mindset is, though?
Well, we
I don't know what our
talked about
mindset is, So we are going to be using my favorite fermenter. We have 2 of these. I think we're going to have more very soon. It is a 1.5 gallon fermenter. So it's perfect for making 1 gallon batches. Don't think you need to make the size of the fermenter. You want it a little less, allowing for expansion, foam, all that stuff. Makes cleanup so much easier because it's not going to be all over your floor. I'm not even joking. It also has fluid ounces and liters on the other side. So fantastic overall fermenter. We will have links to this in the description below. Because this is mead, that's fermented honey. You knew that, right? If you didn't know that, let me explain. Mead is a very, very old fermented beverage. It's similar to wine. Some people hate it when I say that, but it is true in that it is a product fermented into a beverage. So like instead of using grapes, we're using honey. Same concept, okay? For this one, we're going to use 2 pounds of honey, and there's reasons. I'll get to that in a minute. I'm just going to use up what's left of this container. Now, people are always saying, oh, you should add water and this and that. If I put water in here, now I don't know how much honey I have. There are ways to figure it out, but it's so much easier to just let it sit for a minute afterwards and not worry about it. So I'm going to take the lid off and try not to make a mess of that too much and let it pour in. Now, the reason we're using 2 pounds, honey is 0.035 specific gravity per pound in a gallon of must. Now that's important to understand because it's not a gallon of water plus 2 pounds of honey or plus a pound of honey. It's in the 1 gallon. So what we have is 2 pounds of honey making a starting gravity of about 1.070. And we have about 108 to 110 ounces of water because each pound of honey displaces 11 or so ounces of water. So off of the 128, we get to about 108 to 110. A couple ounces doesn't really matter that much, but just to give you the math to work with. I thought I was done with this one. Only 3.6 ounces in there. Come on.
All right, go ahead and open your next one.
And as far as what honey we're using my favorite honey, which is Kirkland Wildflower Honey. Why is it my favorite honey? Because it's readily available and it's relatively inexpensive. And by that, I mean, I think I just bought 60 pounds of it the other day. And it was, I think they were like $12 for a 5 pound container.
Yeah, it's relatively inexpensive as long as you have accessibility to a Costco.
Now, apparently they deliver. Somebody said that they were able to get delivery of Costco honey, even though they don't have a Costco near them, and it wasn't all that much money.
Really? Well, that's something to look into.
Yeah, because we don't have a Costco near us anymore. We were over in St. Pete at the old house, and I made a trip to Costco on purpose because our closest one is, I think it's like an hour and a half away.
Yeah. More honey.
So right now we're at 3.8 ounces. Now you might be wondering, why don't I do 3 pounds like the typical? Well, because we're trying to stay in the spirit of the Arbor Mist wine, which was 6%. We're going to be more. We're going to be like 9%-ish, just because I don't feel like 6% really makes it a wine. But I'm trying to make something that's a little easy drinking, something nice, crisp and refreshing that also has some nice sweetness to it with all the fruits and everything. Yeah, I think this is going to be cool. And hopefully it'll be better than Arbor Mist. You know that means we have to get another bottle of that stuff, right?
Yeah.
We're going to have to taste them against each other. All right, so there's our honey. Let me get this out of the way. Oh, something that I want to talk about. Everything that we've used here today, like the fermenter and the airlock and the lid and all the stuff, anything that's going to touch our mead has been sanitized in
The red bucket of sanitization!
which is like a 15-gallon party tub that's just right over there. It happens to be red, which is my favorite color. Which is the first color that we found one in. Now we found a new version that we can get on Amazon. So we should have links to that in the description as well. So what's next?
Water.
Right. And for this, we're just going to pour in all the water. Now, is this water warm?
It is.
It's not hot, though. It's not boiling.
Nope.
It's just warm.
Just warm.
Like body temperature, roughly, which I know varies a little bit, but shouldn't vary by that much.
All of it?
All of it. All right, this is the spattle. This is just a spoon and a paddle all in one. You can get it from Amazon. It's from North Mountain Supply. And the name that they use is because that's what I called it. But we'll have links in the description for this as well. And you do not have to actually mix this up. We have done what I call a dump mead before, where we just dumped everything in and it fermented just fine. It's probably a better idea to mix and get a little bit of air into it. Get some oxygen in there. I know it's not much, and you can always probably add more, and there's different ways of doing that. We don't worry about it, and it's not really been much of an issue, to be honest. Sometimes there's a sulfury smell that you'll get from fermentation. That is actually caused by not enough aeration at the beginning of the fermentation process. We don't really get that, like ever. So apparently we're mixing just enough to not have that problem. That is from the yeast stressing a little bit. And the good news is it goes away over time. It does age out, so you don't have to really worry about it either. I'm just gonna mix this up. All right, we are mixed up. There's no more honey left on the spattle. Good to go. So next step is let's verify that we didn't accidentally add 6 pounds of honey in there or something crazy. It should be right around a 1.070 initial starting gravity. And it is important to take those readings because listen to what I just said. I'm verifying that I put in the right amount of honey and water actually, just in case.
Also, something to note, Brian said it's really not that important to stir at the beginning, but it is if you want to do this.
Right.
Because if you don't stir and have an equal distribution of your fermentable sugars and your honey, or fermentable sugars and your water, then your gravity reading is going to be wrong.
Wow. It's almost like we planned it. I'm just verifying. It is literally at 1.070 on the dot. So if I look at that 1.070 on our hydrometer and I turn it around, it shows me something like, I'm going to call it 9% or so, which is pretty much exactly what we calculated it out to be. So works perfectly. If you don't understand what I meant by any of that, we actually have a podcast on the fermentation that talks about how to calculate ABV and different ways to do it. And one of them is using a hydrometer in a couple of different ways. Next, we need some yeast. And for that, I have here 3 different yeasts, and I want to talk about it. We have Lalvin QA23, partial packet. We have Lalvin 71B.
The beast.
Love this yeast. Fantastic yeast. Works wonderfully for fruity things. But you might have noticed there's no fruit in here yet. And that's because we're going to be doing the fruit in secondary or conditioning phase on purpose, because I want the aggressive fermentation to finish before we add that fruit so we don't lose, the volatile aromas and it keeps more of the fruity flavor. We do have to do that test again, though. We did a test on this once before, and I don't trust our our answers for that one. I don't think it was an aggressive enough ferment to make a difference, so we'll have to test that. But anyway, 71B is great. And then we also have SO4, which isn't ale yeast, but because this is a lower ABV, this would also be an appropriate yeast to use. And I'm talking about the different yeasts because the yeast is an important factor in your brew, but it's not a make or break. Like, we get questions a lot like, I only have X yeast, you used Y. Can I still do this? Well, yes, absolutely. There might be slight differences. I think the yeast makes a few percentage points difference between them depending on the yeast choice and the brew. But in general, the bigger changes come from the honey and from the amount of honey and from any other things that you add to it. So those things are going to be a much larger difference than the yeast possibly could be.
Now, the things you want to take in consideration when choosing your yeast is what's your target ABV.
That's
our target ABV is roughly 9%. So we want to make sure that our yeasts are able to ferment to 9%, or
All
they have
three of these can do that.
an alcohol tolerance of up to 9%.
Now, I believe QA23 has a higher tolerance than the others. Looking at it here. Yeah, QA23 says up to 16%. Lalvin 71B is usually 14 or 15%. And SO4, I believe, is actually marketed as like 9 to 11. So this would be the closest to this, but you don't have to match them. We can use an 18% yeast in this. It won't matter. There's only enough sugars to go to 9. So what I look at then is what characteristics does the yeast have to offer? Now, my least favorite out of these for this particular brew is going to be SO4 because it is an ale yeast and I'd like to preserve that for when we make ales or ciders. So probably going to knock that one out right off the bat.
Speaking of tests, we do have a test that was inspired by a viewer and a fellow VIP member who did a comparison of an ale yeast versus a wine yeast and how flavor changes when brewing mead.
It was SO4 versus 71B, as a matter of fact. Now, 71B is a great workhorse. It's also awesome for nutrient-low environments like meads in general because it doesn't have high nutrient requirements. We had pretty much stopped using most of the nutrients and things like that because we did a test and found that we liked it better without them. Now, we're doing a longer-term test by actually experiencing it to see if there's any detrimental effects, and so far, none. It's been great. Now, I'm not saying you shouldn't ever use nutrients. There are times, and there is a place for it. In a really low ABV like this, I don't think it's as necessary. That could just be my personal opinion, but it is our experiences, so that's what we're going with.
Ultimately, the choice is yours.
Yes, but 71B is known for producing big fruity flavors too, but there's no fruit here, so we don't have to worry about that. On to QA23. QA23 is used for grape wines most of the time. It's used for Sauvignon Blanc and therefore highly recommended. Known for its reliability and robustness, Lalvin QA23 tends to ferment well in clarified juice, low in nutrients. Oh. I saw that and I went, that just tells me that this is the perfect yeast to use for mead. Now, we've used QA23 before. I don't remember it being spectacular. I don't remember it being bad. So we're going to pay attention this time and see if we can remember. But that is the basics of how we choose yeast. Derica literally went and found a couple yeasts that we had in the fridge, and we go from there and do a little bit of research on them, look them up. You'll find yeasts that work really well in your environment, and then you'll probably just keep using those. Like for us, it's 71B. It just works really, really well. I have a half packet here, putting that in, and
thwack your packet.
Yes. All those yeasts must achieve their destiny. There we go. I don't like to mix in the yeast at this stage because it just sticks to everything, gets on the sides, and then they don't fulfill their destiny.
So now we're putting our lid in airlock that is already prepared with our properly diluted sanitization liquid. So that way, no bugs can get in there, but the gas, once fermentation starts, can escape.
Why is it bubbling already? The only thing I can figure is because the room is a little colder than the liquid itself. Oh yeah. That feels warm to the touch. Yeah. So what's happening is the pressure differential is just pushing liquid out, and that's totally fine. As fermentation actually kicks in though, it'll do much the same thing. The gas will push up this way, push down on this tube over here, and fill this tube over here, and you'll see it start to go bloop, bloop, bloop. And over time, like the first few days, it's gonna get really, really fast, like bloop, 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 bloop. But then after a little while, a week, maybe 2 weeks, it'll start to slow down. Bloop, bloop, bloop. And that's where we'll see you next. It's been 3 weeks and we didn't do anything with this. We just kind of let it do its thing. Let's see how it is now. By the way, these new 1.5 gallon fermenters are amazing. We'll have links to them if you want to get one. They're marked with ounces and liters, just fantastic. And it still messes me up because they're 1.5 gallons. So I looked at this and I went, but we have to add more because we're not going to have a gallon. And then I realized it's got a gallon in there right now. Ooh, look at that color.
That's lovely.
Oh, wow.
But it's just a mead.
Right now it's just mead. And that's okay. It's okay. We're finding, even though we did a test on the fruit before, after, and during and everything, I'm still finding that we get better fruit flavors after. And I think I know why.
Regardless of the fruit flavor, this is just an easy process. It's great to start with a base and then flavor it afterwards. So you have to determine what is your base going to be. Well, this is going to be a mead, so we started with a honey base.
I'm going to say this is as done as it's going to be. 0.996. That's totally cool because we're going to move on to the next phase of this. We're going to get smart this time. Usually I add fruit later and it splashes all over the place and everything. And now, while that might be good TV, it's not the best practical way to do things.
I'm always in the splash zone.
Yeah, so what I want to do is just move this carefully over here so as to not disturb the lees. Although it's not crucial because this is going to get racked again later. Let's get out a larger fermenter. While she digs out that fermenter, let me calculate some ABV for you. So we start at 1.070, we ended at 0.996. So you subtract the beginning gravity from the ending gravity. Actually, you subtract the ending gravity from the beginning gravity. And we have 74 points used, times 131.25, gives us 9.71%. Now, I'm gonna mark down 9.7%, but it's gonna go down just a little bit because we're gonna be adding some fruit. But here's the thing, and a couple people have asked about this. There's no way to know exactly how much liquid we're gonna get or how much volume we're gonna get from the berries that the fruit that we're gonna add. And there's no way to know how much of the sugars are going to extract. So at this point, everything's an estimation. I'm gonna call this like 8 to 9%. I'll probably just say 9%. And does it matter if it's 8 or if it's 9 or if it's 9.5? Doesn't matter. It doesn't matter to me. Doesn't matter to me. And it shouldn't matter to you either because, even professional winemakers only have to be within 1 or 2% of what it says on the label in order to be accurate. Just think about it. Do you think they check every bottle? Do you think they check every single batch? I don't think so. Are you ready?
I'm ready. Fruit. We do. Can you move your arms from the fruit area?
Sure. They have been moved. Whoa.
I didn't get a big enough bowl.
It's all right.
That's why I was...
So, in an effort to make things easier, we did a poll recently where we asked what makes you choose a recipe. A lot of it was easily gotten or locally sourced. Now, to me, easy to get and locally sourced can mean a lot of different things. Locally sourced could mean fresh from an orchard or fresh from the corner store. So either way, it's easy to get and it's locally sourced. So we went to Walmart. So we got great value mango chunks and whole strawberries. These are frozen. Obviously, they've been frozen since we got them.
But if you followed along with some of our fresh fruit recipes, we tend to prep them and then freeze them anyway.
Yep.
Because that helps break down the cell walls, which makes it easier for the yeast to get to the fermentable sugars and do their job.
And I don't like these bags. Oh, there we go. I got it. Sometimes, they have the resealable bag, and, well, the thing tears off before you can even open the resealable bag. So what's the point? By the way, we're gonna have 2 pounds of each mango and strawberry.
Now, because I didn't get these out to fall out in a proper amount of time, we actually don't have too much gunk in our bags, so we're not missing out on the
See, that's
juices.
a good thing. That's a feature.
That's a feature.
These bags suck, man.
The strawberries look fantastic.
Yeah. So initially I was thinking, we could just put the fruit right in there. I don't think so. Just look at that. That's only 2 pounds.
We might need a bigger bucket.
Nope. Because there's gaps in between the fruit. This is a 1.5, it's a 5 liter. 5 liter. So it's a little over a gallon. Oh, that's a 1.5 gallon. So that is actually bigger than this. We'll see. There's going to be some loss.
Will Derica's statement hold true? Find out.
I didn't think about that.
This smells so good.
Okay. First, Derica's right. We need a 2-gallon bucket. So pause while we go get a 2-gallon bucket and transfer this over.
We got a bigger bucket. This is North Mountain Supply's graduated 2-gallon bucket.
By the way, smell that. It smells lovely.
Yeah.
And that's just straight honey wine, straight mead. It's got nothing in it. But I am dumping this in here because if I pour it in there, I could disturb the lees. Just a little thing, but it's the little things that make a lot of difference. All right, now we're gonna rack. So this is gonna be Derica's favorite thing. Frozen bucket of fruit on her lap. She doesn't like cold things.
I'm very cold sensitive.
I'm leaving the cap on because there's gonna be lees at the bottom and we don't really want that. Otherwise, there's no point in racking. Other than there's no way all that fruit was gonna fit in here. But I'm gonna put it in about halfway. And I think this is where a lot of people mess up with an auto siphon. I only have it halfway. It's literally to here. And now I get it started. I didn't disturb any of the lees at the bottom. And I move it with the liquid so that I never put it right, like if I just drop it all the way to the bottom right now, it's gonna stir up all the lees and suck it all up. And I see a lot of people doing that or hear from a lot of people doing that. And it just doesn't make a lot of sense to me. Don't do it that way. But you see, by racking it onto the fruit, the downside is Derica has to have a cold thing on her lap, which might be why I never did it that way before. The upside is there's no splashing.
All right, so Brian did an excellent job of racking this. The yeast cake actually flocculated really nicely, meaning that everything settled to the bottom and kind of stayed there. Nothing got swirled around while we were racking it.
There wasn't a lot either.
And Brian very gently tilted it to the side without disturbing that rack, without disturbing that yeast cake, so that way we could get as much of the liquid out as possible. As you can see,
yeah,
he did
we lost a couple ounces.
Fantastic job. And our brew is still pretty clear. It's just got big chunks of frozen fruit in it now.
I would like to point something out though. We could have, according to this, put everything into there because it's exactly at the 1.5 gallon mark. So it might have been a little too close to the top and some of the fruit might float up. So it's safer this way, but it might have worked that way. Maybe, who knows? Now, you might be thinking to yourself, you guys didn't pasteurize this or stop fermentation anyway. No, we did not.
We did not. So there's a possibility fermentation will continue. We're totally okay with that.
Right. The thing is, there's not really a lot of sugars in strawberries. Mangoes do have some, and if it ferments, it ferments. Here's the thing. Remember earlier when I was talking about, can we just put the lid on this?
Sure. I have a question for you before you get too far on your thought.
Sure.
Should we add pectic enzyme at this point?
We can.
Do you mind?
No, sure. During our move and her parents' move, we found some old measuring spoons. So we have dedicated CSB measuring spoons now. And what you didn't see off camera is we just went through 3 different sets trying to find ones that'll actually fit into the bottle.
So if I can find some that are similar to these, I'll link them in the description below.
These square ones actually work really, really well.
But they won't be the exact ones that we have.
No. So. And maybe we'll just get a set of those.
Yeah.
Because we found that the set we have doesn't actually have a teaspoon. It has a half teaspoon, a 3/4 teaspoon, and a tablespoon, but not a teaspoon. Don't ask. I don't understand. It came from her parents' house. So this is a half teaspoon. And here's the thing. When you're using this, it says half teaspoon per gallon. Now we have a gallon and a half, technically, but really it's a gallon, okay? And when you use it after fermentation, you generally need double. Now, why are we adding pectic enzyme?
We're adding pectic enzyme because we just added fruit. This is actually the beginning of our fruit addition. And pectic enzyme does 2 things. It breaks down the pectin, which is the glue of the structure of fruit. Some fruit have lots of pectin, some don't have very much. But it breaks that down so that way it can retain the color and get more of the fruity juices, the flavor, out of the fruit in the fermentation process. Also, it can limit pectic haze. So it separates the pectin and lets it settle out so that way you have a clearer brew at the end.
Does it lift and separate?
I don't know.
I'm just gonna mix it through. It'll dissolve in, not a problem. Wanna be careful. This is an alcoholic brew right now, so we do not want to introduce oxygen to it. I didn't squeeze that bulb, okay? All right, lid.
So our fruit is in there, our pectic enzyme is in there, our base brew has been racked in there. Now, because we have frozen fruit, this is a lot colder than what it should be. Go ahead, Brian. I know you want to.
Time for the Haas, the hammer of superior sealing. This is a dead blow hammer. Somebody told me I should get one. And even if it doesn't work, a lot of fun. does seem to make a better seal, though. That came from a guy that worked at Lowe's in the paint department. I think it was Lowe's. Might have been Home Depot. Shit. You were saying?
I was saying, so the temperature is going to slow down, perhaps even at the initial moment, stop the fermentation process because yeast don't like to get busy when it's cold. They like it a little warmer. But
in a few days, it'll be back to normal.
Yeah, and then they should be back to business because the cold does not kill the yeast. It just chills them out, pun intended.
So a lot of people have asked what temperature we keep our brews at. Now, I will tell you two different numbers here. Our mini split in this room runs at a constant 78 degrees 24/7, except when we're filming. We keep it a little bit cooler when we're filming. But it blows straight down this way. The brews stay over there, and some of them are on top of a freezer, some of them are in a fermentation, and the tilts that we have been registering right around 75 to 75.5 degrees. So I'm going to say 75 to 78 degrees is pretty much where we keep them, although it seems like 75 to 76 is right about what the brew temperature actually is. So that answers that question if anybody had that question.
So what are we going to do with this brew now, Brian?
I'm going to put the label back on as soon as you dry a spot, and it's going to sit in the fermentation area for probably 3 weeks. Because to me, 2 to 3 weeks is like the ideal extraction time for fruit. Any longer than that, and you might be asking for some trouble. Any shorter, and you're probably not getting enough out of it. So I'm going with the max 3 weeks because it is frozen right now. So it'll take a couple days for it to thaw. So we're really going to get like 2.5 weeks at normal temperatures. Think it's dry enough?
Right here.
Right there? I have to do right there? And I got to turn that.
I always dry a section and then he puts it in the section that he didn't dry. So
because I need it to be aligned with the airlock. Anyway, see you in a couple weeks. Okay, it's been 3 weeks on the fruit. It is time to crack this thing open and check it out. Strawberries always look weird. That's just, it looks wrongity wrong. Like that's the real color. I swear we didn't mess with the color. They just lose all their color. It's just bizarre. However,
what we're not seeing is anything fuzzy.
Right. There's no mold. There's no eyeballs. There's no teeth, no fangs, no fur. Looking for mold, okay? I know I joke about that a lot, but we're just looking for mold. Do you think I can get past that fruit?
What about that hole?
I got some bits, but it's okay. Neat color. Now, this reading is mostly superfluous. I just like using big words sometimes. Meaning that it means nothing. We already know that we were at about 9.7% ABV before. The little bit of fruit could have added a point or so of ABV, but the extra water from the fruit probably diluted it to reduce that point. So it's probably like a net loss, basically. Net equal, net no change. Now it's sitting at 0.994, so it went down slightly. However, I'm not going to worry about it. It's around 9 to 10%. That's as much as I need to know. But what do we got to do now?
We have to rack it off of all of that goopy, unpleasant-looking fruit. So we're going to rack to a pitcher, and we're going to utilize the rumble jar. Okay, so we have our rumble jar, a pitcher, and our autosiphon all sanitized. If you store your autosiphon in 2 parts like we do, go ahead and make sure that you moisten this gasket here before inserting in here, as that will help it slide easily without deteriorating the material further.
There's 2 ways to do this when you're using the rumble jar. One way is really good for your autosiphon. The other way is not. We're going to do the one that's good for your autosiphon, which means I put the rumble jar in first and then insert the autosiphon into the rumble jar, cap on too, because there's probably a lot of goop in the bottom of this, so I don't want that in our final product. And then hold that and get it going. The other way is to put the rumble jar in the pitcher, but that means all those big bits are being sucked up by the autosiphon. They get stuck in the gasket and it can actually hurt the autosiphon. That's why I say there's 2 ways to do it.
Sure.
But really there's 1.
So the rumble jar and its minute perforations are creating a barrier between those chunks and your autosiphon, so it has clear liquid to suck up rather than fight those chunks.
Now, here's the thing. It will still suck up lees. That's why I left the cap on. So any lees that comes through should just sit towards the bottom and it won't really get in there. But you still want to be careful with that. I do have it sitting all the way on the bottom though, already. We are probably going to be pasteurizing this, so I'm not as worried about sediment because that'll fall out during the process too. So it's okay if I get a little bit in there. Now, I know somebody was thinking, I never poured the sample in. And you know why? Because there was no safe way to do it yet. So what I'm going to do now is just, there's no safe way to do this.
Yeah.
You know what? Just submerge it.
Yeah.
That's the safe way. Because there's a little bit of chunks in the sample, and I didn't want them in the brew.
But we don't want to oxidize the brew either.
Right. Well, it also would have just spilled out the side because this is just all full of holes.
So our starting off in the 2-gallon bucket really paid off because we are well over a full U.S. gallon.
We have about almost 4.5 liters, which just estimation is like another 12 ounces over a gallon. So like 140 ounces. Wow, that's a lot. We usually don't see that much. But we need to make sure that this is how we want it to be. I can all but guarantee at this moment it is not.
We want it to be sweeter. That color, though, is fantastic. It's got a great pink, orange, peachy.
It looks like strawberry mango.
Yeah.
Almost like that's what it is.
Go figure. It smells kind of young.
I would imagine so. It is about 6 weeks as of today. Maybe not quite 6 weeks. Come on, you got to do it. Take one for the team. It's probably very dry. You know, the smell isn't bad. It smells very much like the thing that inspired it.
It needs a lot of sweetening.
Oh, yes, it does. All right, let's start sweetening. That was unpleasant.
Now, because we've made a mead version, we're going to be sweetening with honey. You can opt to do a different type of sweetening.
Yeah.
It will change the flavor.
I think honey for this is nice. You can actually sweeten a mead with sugar too, is what she was trying to say. Like, I think honey for this one is...
Well, because we intended this to be a mead,
Yeah. Well, it would still be a mead even if you sweetened with other things.
For me, when I'm tasting a mead, I want the honey notes to come forward. Otherwise, it's
I
like...
agree. What's the point? You might as well have made a wine. Is that what you're trying to say? We do this thing where we both say the same thing
just
in
from
different words.
ways, and it's
annoying sometimes.
It's so much fun.
It usually annoys her more than me because I'm usually completely oblivious that it's happening until after she explains it to me. Because you have to realize, we're not just making this, we're filming it. I'm monitoring it over there. I'm making sure that the memory cards are going. I'm making sure that the power is enough. I'm making sure that the light's in the right spot. I'm making sure the framing's good. So yeah, I might miss the subtle nuances of repeating things. I only put in a little bit because that's all we got room for. Might need a bigger pitcher. So we talked about dilution earlier, and I was just trying to figure out, like, how did we end up with more than a gallon? Because I used 2 pounds of honey and 110 ounces of water, which is about a gallon. It's because all that fruit let out a lot of liquid. So because it's about 12 ounces, though, that's about 10%. So my 9.7%, it might be more like 8.5 or so percent. But do you care?
Nope.
She wanted this to be relatively low ABV. I think the Arbor Mist version is like 6 or something stupid.
I don't recall.
It's very low. As a result of adding honey to this, we are going to have to stabilize this. Our preferred method is heat, also known as pasteurization. We get the temperature of it up to 140 degrees Fahrenheit for 22 minutes. After 22 minutes, we remove it from the heat. Alternately, you can actually get it up to 160 degrees for 1 minute. However, if you're doing it in glass, that's a little bit more risky. If you're using like a metal keg or something, go for the 160. I found it works super fantastically. But for this, I don't know what we're going to use yet because this is a little bit more than a gallon. It's kind of confusing because I'm not sure what to do. I could just make Derica drink a big glass of it. Make her. Make her do it, yeah.
I don't know if we get it the right sweetness.
Yeah, at the right sweetness level, I might help you.
The aroma is a little...
rough?
Youthy.
Yeah, it's a little rough. But I smell the flavors that we should be smelling.
It's definitely better.
Not quite there.
I'm getting more of the fruit, the different fruit notes now.
Now, there's 2 things that we're actually doing by adding honey. If we just added sugar, it adds sweetness and nothing else. By adding honey, actually, it's 3 things. We're adding the sweetness. We're also adding the honey character, but we're also adding some viscosity. This is thin. It needs a little bit of work in the mouthfeel department.
Yeah.
So I'm hoping we can get that with plain honey. If we can't, we have ways of making it work. It's okay. We'll figure it out. That's a significant amount of honey, though. It's probably 3/4 of a pound so far.
Much better.
I think it still needs more.
Okay.
The other thing that honey will do and sweetening will do is it'll bring the fruity flavors more forward. And this really needs it because this is all about the strawberry mango. And without those flavors, it kind of misses the mark. We can't let Arbor Mist beat us.
I would just be wrong.
Yeah. Well, I know this is nothing like the Arbor Mist anymore.
Right.
I mean, it's inspired by. Mixed again. Let's try it. It's like really overflowing.
This might have to be it, or I'll just have to have a sacrificial glass.
Yeah. The color seems to have changed slightly. It's more mango than strawberry now. It had a pinkish hue, and now it's more of a mango-y hue. I think the honey is having something to do with that. I smell mango strawberry.
Good.
You're saying it smells very young.
I don't taste mango strawberry.
Oh, well, good. That's really nice.
Yeah.
It's simple. This is not the most complex thing we've ever made, but it's simple.
If you had 2 glasses, one before we started back sweetening and one now,
you would not think it was the same thing
it was a different brew altogether.
Do we want to make any adjustments for mouthfeel? I don't think I want to.
Okay.
Here's why. It's got a good acidity level that I think is going to come through a little bit more over time. So that's going to help balance that mouthfeel a little bit. I think it's got just, one more, just for science.
I thought your assessment was that acid level tends to diminish after time. Mm-hmm. So rather than adding tannin, do you want to add a little bit of acid blend?
No, maybe I worded it badly. I think it's too acidic right now.
Oh, okay.
So tartness will balance it down just slightly.
Okay.
The sweetness level is fine. My only concern was that it was a little thin, but I'm okay with it being a little thin. It's fine.
Yeah.
I think that's great. I think chilled, this is going to be lovely. It's a nice little
right now, I could probably drink it.
Just a nice little summer chiller.
Drink it down to that gallon for you.
Well, we're going to put this into a fermenter. We're going to rack it in. And then we're going to pasteurize it. And I don't know, maybe we'll cold crash it too. Depends on how it comes out. If it doesn't come out clear after pasteurization, sometimes we like to cold crash to help it clear a bit. And we'll be back in a week to give you a judgment on it. For those of you curious, since we actually forgot before, but after I racked it over, we ended up at 1.024 final sweetness. That doesn't affect the ABV. Not really anyway, but it does affect the sweetness level. And we ended up with so much that there's an entire bottle here. And yeah, I'm pouring it in. You know why? This bottle is not going to last the day because if we don't pasteurize this, this will ferment, okay? And we don't want it to. Look at this. I can't even, it's filling the...
I have a glass.
Okay. Waste not, want not.
See how eager I am to help.
Yeah, I'm not even putting the lid on this. This, we're going to pasteurize. See you in a week. Okay, so last week we back sweetened this, and then we pasteurized it, and then we cold crashed it.
We have had it sitting out all morning to try to get it back up to room temperature. I feel like it's still cold.
It's chilled.
It's chilled, but it's not condensating anymore, so I think it's pretty close.
Yeah.
Check that out.
Oh my God, clarity. Wow, that is just
a thing of beauty. And it's the perfect color for strawberry mango.
Yeah.
Right? It's like this peachy, orangey thing.
That's beautiful. Appearance-wise, this is an 11.
Yeah.
It's that good.
It's lovely.
I'm usually very critical about like haze and all that. There's none.
Stick your nose in there.
Ooh. Oh.
That is.
I got the strawberry shortcake doll smell right off the bat, but then it mellowed with the mango.
Mango's in there too. Now sometimes mango does this weird thing where it kind of comes off turpentine, and that's just the nature of mango.
That is not what it's doing here.
It is not doing that. I think the strawberry is.
The strawberry
and mango are besties right now.
Yeah, they are working so well together.
They're holding hands. They're skipping.
I would never think strawberry mango.
They are having a grand old time.
You ready?
I am ready.
There's just nothing wrong with that. It's nice and light. It's refreshing.
It's got a great sweetness. Mm-hmm.
But it's not like cloying. It's just got enough.
It's got the strawberry and the mango. And then the finish, after the sweetness kind of dissipates, becomes more cleansing. Like,
yeah, that's the crispness.
A little acidic.
Yeah, the strawberry actually brought some acidity.
Yep.
Maybe the mango did too, actually.
Yeah.
That turpentine-y thing.
Yep.
But it's not turpentine-y at all.
No.
There's a really nice acidity to this, making it nice and light and crisp.
Yeah.
But it's got more complex flavors than you would think it would. It doesn't come across strongly as a mead. Because I think the strawberry mango flavors kind of are more powerful than the amount of honey character. I don't mind it though.
We're going to test it against its inspiration here soon, but
I don't think they're anything alike.
I feel like, regardless of whether they side by side they taste the same,
Yeah.
I feel like the spirit of the inspiration definitely came through.
Oh yeah, definitely came through. Because, well, like I just said, this is something that I never would have thought to make.
Yeah.
So we found an inspiration in a cheap bottle of what was it? Arbor Mist, yeah, and made something unique from it in a mead. Could you have made this as a wine? Could we have made this as a wine? Yes, absolutely. Just use sugar instead of honey. I don't think the depth of flavor would be quite as strong, but then I could be wrong. It might even come out a little bit better.
I am enjoying the honey notes. I have to search for them. Like Brian said, the fruit is definitely forward. So you have to kind of think about, oh, that's a honey sweetness paired with fruit.
Right.
If you think you had like a nice big bowl, perfectly ripe mango and strawberries, and just a little bit of honey on there, then sure.
But you know, I think mango has enough of the honey-like qualities that we might be getting more honey than we think.
Sure.
And it's just being masked. We're thinking it's mango.
It could be that, yeah.
Because mango can have like almost that honey, creamy, buttery thing with a little bit of the floral notes coming through.
That, of course, is dependent a lot on what type of variety of mango you're using. Sure. Now, granted, we just used generic frozen Walmart mangoes.
We used Walmart brand.
But being that I'm a Florida native, mangoes are everywhere. They're omnipresent, and you can get so many different specific varieties of mangoes here. And they do all have their own flavor profiles. So,
sure. Speaking of flavor profile, we got to put a number on this. Right now, you should be seeing on your screen our scoring guide, which goes 1 through 11, because that's right, ours goes to 11. Well, what's not on there is the super secret 0 for things that just completely suck. I'm going to go on a limb and say this is neither. That's my spoiler alert. Do you have a number?
I do.
All right, so do I. 1, 2, 3,
9.
6.5. Wow.
9.
Wow. It's nice. Don't get me wrong. It's nice. I could drink this. No problem. It's very easy to drink. I mean, you would get sloshed on this pretty quickly.
What's our baby?
9.7%. I already did it. So it's just under 10%, which means you could drink a lot of this before you even feel it.
And then you would try to stand up.
Yep. And then you fall down. Yeah.
I love strawberries. Love mangoes. This is both.
Yeah, this is also more of a Derica's.
It is definitely a Derica brew. And now it's time to compare it. Dun, dun, dun.
To its inspiration. Pretty sure it cost us just as much to make a gallon as it cost to buy this bottle. Meaning we made a cheaper Arbor Mist. Think about that.
That's not something to be bragging about, I don't think.
I wasn't bragging. I was just pointing it out.
So the first thing you will notice is Arbor Mist has 0 color.
Yeah. It's fake.
Like 0 color. How did you do that? Like, why did you do that?
Well, ours is a mead. Theirs is a moscato.
Grape wine, carbonated water, high fructose corn syrup.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's fake. It's not even real.
What? Disappointed.
Wow.
All right. Sorry for that.
So you can tell which one's which. The clear one is the fake. I mean, it's the Arbor Mist. Yeah. It smells funky, doesn't it?
It smells funky.
Yep. Doesn't smell as good as ours. Ours smells light and fruity, and that smells...
It smells wrongity wrong after you smell ours.
Yep.
Wow.
Yep.
That
so far, we won. we are winning. That's 0.1 for ours.
Our color looks like what it should be.
Yeah, I'm going to say
Theirs looks like
water or vodka.
Sprite.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I'm not giving us a point for that, though.
The aroma, we have a lovely fruity
Light and fruity. And
bouquet, and theirs.
it's very chemical. It's very chemical. Like, I can't really put into words.
All right, so I just smelled my arm because if you smell your own skin, that kind of resets your olfactory. Is that?
Yeah. Your sense of smell, your schnoz.
Your schnoz. Yeah, it's like.
I can't really describe what it is. It doesn't smell like, it almost smells slightly spoiled.
For some reason, the only word that's coming to my head, and is not the right word, is skunk.
Yeah.
And
I think.
it's not that bad, but it definitely smells wrong.
Okay, I have smelled that before. And it was on meads that I know
It's the
had been
sulfites,
sorbated and
Yeah.
sulfited.
This
Yes.
has potassium sorbate
Yep.
and sulfiting agents and
Yep.
and potassium benzoate.
Benzoate. Oh, wow. So it's got all three.
It's got the
preservatives.
trifecta.
Yeah, that's.
Crap.
Wow. You'll live forever if you drink that stuff, though, because you'll be preserved.
Wow. Did we smell this when we first? I don't like.
I don't remember. I would have thought I'd remember that. But anyway, give them a taste. They smell vastly different. Ours smells better. Okay, first impression, ours has so much more flavor, like actual flavor. Theirs has roughly the same mouthfeel, so they're both very light, watery on the mouthfeel. Theirs is slightly petulant, ours is not. But from a flavor perspective, ours is more strawberry mango. Theirs is just kind of almost artificial fruit, which I'm sure that's what it is.
That being said, flavor-wise, they're vastly similar than anything else that we have.
I don't get as much strawberry on theirs. I get more mango and sweetness with ours.
It's
A little more strawberry forward.
the flavors are a lot similar,
Yeah,
a lot more similar than
Yeah.
I was anticipating.
but ours was made with real fruit and real fermented stuff like honey.
And
Theirs is
that
grape wine with high fructose corn syrup and every item they could put in there. So this is something that we love to do, though, is take something that we wouldn't really want to drink and take those flavor compounds and make it into something that's actually a quality beverage.
Now, Brian pushed for this to be a mead, and I was initially kind of irritated with that, but
Yeah.
I feel like that was
think-
actually the right choice.
Yeah, I questioned it along the way, too.
And I am pleasantly surprised at not only did we come close to our inspiration, but I say we surpassed it.
Yeah. Oh, for taste, we get 2 points over it, I think.
But we were in the right track. We have the flavor profile.
Actually, let me take that back. For smell, we get 2 points. For taste, we get 1 point.
Smell, we get
So we won by 3 points.
10,000 points.
I think appearance-wise, ours looks nicer too. There's being clear just seems weird to me for a wine like this.
Yeah.
Like you hear strawberry mango and you think it should be kind of a reddish orange.
It should be that color.
Yeah.
Notice.
And the thing is, they put all those chemicals in there anyway. Why didn't they just make it that color too? You know, they could have done that, but they didn't. And I'm not really picking on Arbor Mist. It's a fine product for what it is. It
Yes.
was, what was it, like $6? I mean, it's ridiculously stupid cheap. But I want to say that each thing of fruit that we added to this was like maybe $3 or $4. And then we used 2 pounds of honey, which we used Kirkland Honey.
Theirs is a 6% ABV.
Okay, ours is almost 10. I don't taste an alcohol difference.
No.
So that's 3%, almost 4% different. Very difficult to tell. Anyway, so we have like $6 to $8 in fruit, and then we use 2 pounds of honey. And I know the Kirkland Honey, we get 5 pounds for $12, $13, something like that. So it's like $2.50 a pound. I mean, it's really, really cheap. That's one of the reasons why I love it. So that's like another $5. So we spent somewhere between $11 and $13 to make the equivalent of 4 to 5 bottles versus 1 bottle at $6 of theirs, and ours is all real natural ingredients. So I'd say we win on economy and price too. We made a cheaper, better Arbor Mist clone as a mead.
So basically, if you like this and you want to make something similar to this but better,
make this.
And you'll save money in the long run.
And as always, guys, thanks so much for watching and have a great day.
Bye-bye.